Welcome to MINDSHOCK. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, and you are listening to the logical analysis of the one and only Austin WITSIT. Quite possibly the greatest debater of all time against so-called Professor Dave FARINA in a flat earth debate originally aired or streamed June 15th, 2024. And this is part 2 in our analysis. Part 1, I actually did it quite a while ago. I think the original MINDSHOCK channel got shut down within days of this analysis because FARINA got so thoroughly decimated. I mean, it took me hours just to do the point-by-point on his opening, and we're not even done with his opening. And as I mentioned in part 1, I mean, FARINA really upped the game. I mean, he's coming for that Dunning-Kruger crown. I mean, this goof has increased his verbal diarrhea abilities. He's diversified the logical fallacy spam. I mean, this is not the same Dave FARINA that got decimated by Flat Earth Day. I mean, this guy has taken Dunning-Kruger stylings and fallacious arguments seriously. I mean, he's desperately grasping at fallacies in such a way I mean, he really, really wants the Dunning-Kruger crown. I mean, this guy didn't come to play. He came to win that Dunning-Kruger crown with his brain-dead stylings. As always, if you enjoy the MINDSHOCK podcast, find it interesting and informative, and want to help logic and reason return to a world where it is quickly going extinct, as Dave FARINA here is proving with every time he opens his mouth, you can donate to the MINDSHOCK podcast. You can check out our PayPal in the description. You can also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel that way. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcaster, be a co-host, and also be a guest on the podcast, depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comments section. And if you were with us here live, drop them in the live chat. I'll try to get to all of them. Flat Pop says he saw the stats that Sartain put up and thought I could do better. So here's the thing. Part 1, I didn't have the new system ready, and so I'm not going to be doing the fallacy counter for this walkthrough analysis. And then I'll run it through after and then re-air all the parts with the numbers after this. So this is kind of this is just play-by-play here. Mojo Shop says, Austin just debated Jaren on Austin's pay-per-view summit. Would like to hear your analysis. The video is free on my channel. Okay, yeah, we could do that next if that's what everybody wants. I mean, obviously quite a few analyses to go over. Let me just check out, yeah, so Mojo Shop 839 here. Yeah, let me drop the link in the chat here so everybody can go to Mojo Shop's channel and subscribe. And, yeah, there is the debate with the one and only Jaren. So, yeah, we can go over that, next. I didn't know when they were going to do that. Yeah, someone mentioned that they would be debating. So, 1 second here, let me just make sure the stream is good. And then we will pick up where we left off, which wasn't too far, because FARINA was spamming so many fallacies that it took quite some time. I think it was 2 hours I spent dissecting his fallacy spiel. But, yeah, we will be continuing, so just give me about a minute, and then we will get going.
is going.
Neither of these things make an ounce of sense on a flat Earth. You would have to have, for the flight, the Sydney to Santiago takes this incredibly enormous arced path instead of going the straight line path, and neither of which could be done in 12 hours anyway. And then the boat race would have to go around the entire world, always steering away from Antarctica instead of towards it, which it doesn't do. So all of these observations are very extremely basic, intuitive ways to prove that the Earth isn't flat.
You gotta hand it to Farina. I mean, his appeal to invincible ignorance fallacy, where he just keeps spewing the same fallacies in the same manner without making any adjustments, pretending there were no counterpoints presented simply because he was too mentally deficient to process the counterpoints, or if you were claiming that Dave Farina is some kind of genius actor able to go full retard convincingly, then perhaps that's what he's doing. And intentionally misrepresenting, strawmanning, and of course the appeals to invincible ignorance, arguing points that nobody ever made to pretend that that proves something on his presuppositions, which is just a stack of circular reasoning, logical fallacies, and false dichotomies, and of course the strawman and divergent fallacies for arguments people never made, as if they made them and as if this debunks it, which it clearly doesn't. So his faith stack here firmly establishing his religion of scientism and the core tenets of the faith that Dave Farina is peddling.
Okay, these all obliterate the flat Earth. They prove without a doubt that the Earth is a sphere. Every single one of them does this. Austin is unable to discuss any of these topics. He has no.
You know what's kind of weird here, though? Like, even if he's going full retard, I mean, obviously Austin's discussed all these topics in detail with clear rebuttals and just basic observations on why they're fallacies. He's pretending that Austin has never discussed these things and won't discuss them. That's kind of weird because Austin's obviously, almost every flat Earth debater has discussed it, whether they're right, whether they're wrong. That's not the point here. Farina's hallucinating and spamming these blatant lies and false premise logical fallacies that they're not going to be discussed or addressed, which they clearly are. So now we have to go back to, is this all a humiliation ritual for Dave Farina? Like, the thing about Dave Farina, though, he doesn't appear to get joy from humiliating himself like Craig of Fight the Flat Earth. Craig seems to get genuine joy from going full retard and humiliating himself in every single flat Earth debate. Whereas Farina, he's got this smug look on his face most of the time. Is it genuine mental disability? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to offend mentally disabled people. Obviously, mentally disabled people can make way better points than this. It's just, obviously there's degrees of mental disability. I mean, is Farina borderline vegetable? I mean, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know. But it's strange for him to just say something so blatantly false. I mean, it's kind of weird. I don't know if he did that in his debate with Flat Earth Dave. I mean, there was a couple things, but to pretend it's not even going to be discussed. I mean, I think even Craig didn't go that retarded. I mean, did Craig go that level of retardation as Dave Farina is here? Just saying something so blatantly false, like Austin's unable to address those things. Like, he's addressed them countless times, and we'll see if he addresses them right here. Like, it's kind of weird. It's a weird play. It's a weird play. Mojo Shop saying Jaren might be the new fallacy king. We will see. We will see.
Ability to explain any of these observations on a flat Earth, and so he will desperately try to pivot and turn this into a debate about geocentrism versus heliocentrism. Unfortunately, that's not the topic of the debate. If he wants to have that debate, that's totally fine. He must simply concede this debate that we're having now, admit that the Earth is a sphere, and then we can talk about that completely separate other topic about whether the spherical Earth moves or not.
I have to say, I'm impressed by the Dunning-Kruger game that Dave Farina has brought to the table here. I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, this is a whole new level of retardation and fallacy spew. Like, this is Farina 2.0 here. I mean, this Farina, will smoke Farina 1.0 versus Flat Earth Dave in logical fallacies and just straight up retardation. Because to claim that whether the Earth moves or not is unrelated to cosmological model, I mean, this level of retardation, this is pretty incredible. I mean, I'm not sure Craig has even claimed that whether the Earth moves or not is not related to cosmological model. I don't even think Craig has claimed that. I mean, if anybody knows, again, I haven't seen all of Craig's debates. I don't think Craig has made points this brain dead like Farina is. I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive. I mean, one thing is clear here. Dave Farina has come for the crown. He has come for the Dunning-Kruger crown. He didn't come to take part, he came to take over.
All yours, Austin.
Perfect. Hey, let me, perhaps I should have defined, Austin, I'll give you an extra 60 seconds, if that's okay with you, Dave, to define what flat Earth even is, or just because not everybody in my audience knows.
Okay. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. But,
you think so? Should we just go right to the 7?
That the Earth is flat. That's
okay. Just so everyone knows, but also that the Earth is at the center of the universe too, right? Is that one? Are those two things combined?
I mean, yeah, there is no universe if there's right. Okay, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Whatever.
Okay. Well, no, that's fine. We'll just go right to the Dave's. Or I'm sorry.
Well, wait, what happened?
He just left.
He left?
Well, he might have just, maybe he'll come back. He might have clicked a button at
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe he accidentally closed the window.
He might have closed the window. Yeah, he might have been trying to add something.
He probably tried to switch tabs to go to a
Yeah. All right, there he is.
Something.
All right, I'll there you go. There you go.
My bad.
No, you're good. I was like, debate over? What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up and then so at 4:46 you have your 7.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really make a PowerPoint, but I'll just use the classic one here if you can pop it up on screen for me. So yeah, it's our position is that the Earth is a geocentric stationary plane. This feeble attempt to separate the conversations is disingenuous. If the Earth is stationary, it's in the center of the universe. None of the kinematics or dynamics, even of geocentrism, is exclusive to sphericity. That is just a get out of jail card because he will not be able to defend the claim that we're moving around the sun. To very quickly go through some of this, falsification is independent of replacement. And so what always happens is people don't defend the globe. They just want to ask millions of questions to the flat earthers. And somehow if a flat earther doesn't know the answer, then all of a sudden the globe model becomes true. And then of course the burden of proof is the one making the positive claim. And then shifting the burden is making the other person prove why your claim isn't true. So if I read a book and say all these fairy tales exist, I don't have to prove that unicorns don't exist. Very simple concept that gets overlooked consistently in this debate. Oftentimes we get what's called a straw man fallacy. People say that this is what flat Earth is, and they point and laugh, and no one that I know thinks that it's a flat disk in a solar system. That's ridiculous. Hopefully we can prevent these, but these are the typical fallacies used. Of course, a straw man fallacy, which we just discussed, ad hom attacking the person instead of the argument, credentials. Oh, you're not qualified to talk about this. Appeal to how what everyone else thinks. Appeal.
So, this is my blind reaction. I haven't seen this before. I really like how Austin did this to point out the goofery. I mean, the only thing missing, of course, is the link to, empirically verifiable academic or quackademic sources. Because a lot of scientism cultists, so the scientism cult is, I believe, exclusive on the globe side. I don't want to make any any inaccurate claims. Are there scientism cultists who are flat earthers? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any. But I believe the globe is exclusively defended by scientism cultists. So they put all this blind faith in institutions and educational facilities. So the only thing missing here, of course, is if Austin, it would be nice to have a link here to Cornell or whoever. Cornell has a lot of. I like Cornell's database on logic and logical fallacies. They have great material. I usually link to them. Again, I'm not claiming they're wrong or right about, conclusions, but the empirical, verifiable, scientific literature regarding these fallacies, because some goofs might think that these aren't real and Austin made them up. I mean, there's all sorts of goofs out there. Obviously, these are the actual fallacies and the definitions of the fallacies. The only thing missing here, obviously, some kind of educational reference would be nice, just to shut up the goofs that hallucinate that these are not empirically verifiable. But look how bored Dave Farina looks at getting eviscerated. I mean, Austin's presentation here within a minute completely logically eviscerated everything Dave Farina just said. Because all Dave Farina did was spam these fallacies in his opening. So, I mean, this kind of evisceration, I'm not sure we've seen anything like this before. And look at how calmly Austin WITSIT is absolutely dismantling Dave Farina and a lot of these scientism cultists. See, I don't know if this is pure humiliation fetish for Dave Farina, because he just looks bored at being completely shut down. I mean, Michael Jordan just donked on a preschooler here, repeatedly. I mean, how can Dave Farina come back from this when his entire opening was just completely exposed to such a level that I don't believe we've ever seen in any kind of debate ever? I mean, this is pretty crazy. This is pretty crazy.
To authority, poisoning the well, begging the question, shifting the burden of proof. These are always used. Everyone was taught the Earth's a globe when they were young. That doesn't mean it's true. So let's just quickly go through the basic claims here. Claim 1 is that the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. The second claim is that the Earth is spinning, tilted, wobbling, revolving around the sun, shooting through the galaxy. That's then shooting through space. That is a positive claim. And then the third one is that the Earth is in the vacuum of space. The heliocentric model has the burden of proof for these claims. So attempting to remove the burden and pretend that it's just automatically granted to you at the beginning is not how logic works whatsoever. And then one would say, wait, isn't saying the Earth is flat a positive claim? It is, of course. And so then we would have the burden of proof, and we have fulfilled that, right? Actually, this right here is a specular reflection. Any convexity or concavity of the water, if it was curving, you wouldn't be able to get a specular reflection because it will cause what's called a diffused reflection. If we move on here, we have actually verified the Earth is flat in many ways. Radio waves can be sent over 10,000 miles. Amateur records show that they're sent thousands of miles at all frequencies far beyond the geometric limitation of the globe. Here we have a distant mountains observed from 167 miles away at less than 1,000 feet. So the target hidden height should be almost or over 11,000 feet, but the mountain's only 12,000 feet. We should only be seeing roughly 1,000 feet of the mountain. Clearly, that's not the case. Here we have another one, 168 miles. Target hidden height is almost 12,000 feet, and the elevation is entirely 12,000 feet. So we should not see the entire mountain. This is a major problem because you're going to have a problem trying to invoke refraction here, and hopefully you do. This used to be the world record. Longest distance line of sight. Of course, that means you're a direct line of sight to what you're observing. The world record for the longest photo. Here we have a target hidden height of 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest mountain is 12,000 feet, which means that the mountain should have been thousands of feet below the curvature. Here's another one, 271 miles. Again, the entire mountain should have been obstructed by over 3,000 extra feet. Here's another one, 250 miles. You get the idea. Over and over, the mountain should be obstructed, except for just roughly 800 feet here. Here's another one, 241 miles. The entire mountain, almost the entire mountain should be hidden. And then it goes on and on and on. here is a very important observation everyone ducks away from. If you look in the top left here, you see you can't see the mountains. These are called Canigou Mountains. You cannot see the mountains. So when people say, can you see, would you be able to see forever if the earth was flat? That's a ridiculous straw man. Even within a globe paradigm, you'd have to admit you can't see forever because of something called attenuation. The light gets absorbed into the medium. We cannot see the mountains until the sun gets behind it due to the intensity of the light from the sun. You now get a silhouette, and we can see the Canigou Mountains. These should have been completely obstructed. You can buy a plane ticket right now for 2 specific days of the year, and you'll know that you'll see the mountains because of a silhouette based on where the sun sets. So I guess refraction is just colluding with the calendar and with the atmosphere to make the earth look flat over and over. Of course, as a silhouette, refraction affects light, not the absence of light. Here to address his straw man about the geocentrism thing, these are projected onto a plane. These are literally azimuthal projections. So to say that it requires sphericity is ridiculous. Here we see that all the paths of the planets fit right within a Ferrel cell magnet torus field. Okay, what a coincidence. And to address this misnomer that sunsets are impossible on a flat Earth and they just go behind the curve of the Earth, that is also not true. Here we see the sun disappearing above the horizon with a horizontal line blocking the bottom of it far above the horizon. This is proof that the sun can disappear up above the horizon due to atmospheric conditions. Of course, we have tons of assumptions when it comes to the military that the Earth is flat. Specular reflection, again, I'm going to kind of speed through these, but specular reflection, you see that just a small concavity or convexity in the water actually causes what's called a diffused reflection. You'll see here in the left. So you actually need a flat surface to have a specular reflection.
This might be the best opening for a flat Earth debate I've ever seen. I mean, Austin WITSIT just systematically, absolutely dismantled not only everything Dave said, but he laid out a pretty good case for flat Earth. And I mean, Dave was laughing. I mean, is he laughing because he's just that humiliated and he can't counter anything? He's just going to ignore and strawman it away? Or does he not have the mental capacity to even comprehend the arguments? I mean, I don't know. I'm not claiming to know. We'll kind of see what Farina's response here will be. But, yeah, no, this is probably the best opening I've ever seen WITSIT make, or anybody who's defending the flat Earth.
See these over long distances consistently. So we'll just skip over here. So, and then he, of course, the globe claims that the horizon is a physical, tangible surface, and it is not. It's literally a horizon that is apparent. That's why it is where the sky appears to meet the ground. So here we can get into some of the specifics here, but of course, also on a globe, the horizon should drop down and away from you as you increase altitude. What we see in reality is it rises with us, which is a major problem. So long story short, the entire globe model depends on the accuracy of the claimed radius value. And if that radius value is wrong, the entire model is wrong. So in closing, what I'm going to say is, again, falsification is independent of replacement. The literal default position is that the Earth is a stationary plane. The globe says, well, yeah, but it's so big, it looks flat, and it's so big that based on the angular rate of motion, you can't tell that it's moving. Could that be true in theory? Sure, but that is a concession that the default position, based on empirical evidence and observation, is that the Earth is a stationary topographical plane, hence why we utilize it as such for all military technology, etc. Therefore, to make a claim that everything is antithetical to that, you objectively and logically have the burden of proof. So, and then we'll get into a lot of the things that he mischaracterized my arguments regarding throughout the debate, hopefully. But yep, there you go. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Can anyone recall a more structured concise opening argument in any debate on any subject. I mean, WITSIT just went over so many different aspects of Flat Earth so succinctly, so quickly, so clearly. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, this is Michael Jordan dunking on preschoolers. I mean, it's not even really fair. Like, how can you not feel bad for Dave Farina, whether he's a smug vegetable or not? I mean, how can you not feel bad for him?
Thank you for the opener. I want to give you both. What do you think? Like, I assume there's one or two things that both of you have said or that strongly disagree with. Other. Do you want me to open it up to just give you both a 5-minute period for rebuttal?
No,
or you just want to leave it open?
We can dig into it.
Okay. Why don't? What was the first particular topic? Maybe that Dave you want to poke around.
Well, Austin is denying this idea. He's insisting that the default position is the flat plane, empirically, observably, everything observable. Okay, so explain the observations from antiquity that I told you. How are you getting the sky to rotate in opposite directions depending on where you're standing? Let's start with there.
So this has been explained ad nauseum a million times. I mean, this goof is this brain dead. He doesn't realize. I mean, does he also think train tracks touch in the distance because they look like they touch? Because he's hallucinating and presupposing the continent's position in relation to Antarctica and the constellation above. So that's a false premise, circular reasoning, false dichotomy, logical fallacy stack. So if he doesn't understand basic logic, how would he understand any explanation given to him? Because throughout all of antiquity, like he's pretending and hallucinating that all of the ancient civilizations didn't navigate and travel the seas, etc., all based on flat earth cosmology. He's also hallucinating the Greeks only had a spherical earth cosmology, completely ignoring Lucretius's On the Nature of Things, which I went over in part 1, where the Greeks were divided. The Romans were divided. Some of them thought it was a flat plane with a dome, just like all the other ancients. I mean, the Chinese, because a lot of brain-dead goofs don't know this, a lot of scientism cultist goofs, they're just that utterly clueless. They don't know. I mean, you want to use Grok. A lot of these idiots use Grok. So, in terms of the globe Earth being introduced to China, I mean, this is all verified in a million different sources, but just real quick, if anybody wants to verify it with Grok. The tradition, so let's look here. The concept of spherical Earth was introduced in China during the late 16th to early 17th century through Jesuit missionaries. We're not going to get into that rabbit hole. And so the Matteo Ricci, an Italian Jesuit priest, arrived in China in 1582, sharing Western scientific and astronomical knowledge with Chinese scholars. His work, including maps and translations, introduced the idea that Earth was a globe, contrasting with the traditional Chinese cosmological view of a flat square Earth under a domed sky. Ricci's Kunyu Wangu Quantum map of the myriad countries of the world, presented in 1602, depicted the Earth as a sphere and included detailed geographical knowledge from Europe. Now, again, I'm not claiming any of this is true. This is the official narrative that the scientism cultists, bootlickers pretend and hallucinate has to be true because this is what the establishment peddles. So we're going by that. So these scientism cultists, so these brain-dead goofs like Dave Farina don't even know the history of the model they're purporting is true. So again, acceptance was gradual, met with resistance. By the early 17th century, other Jesuits like Johann Adam Schall von Bell and Ferdinand Verbiest further reinforced the idea. But full acceptance of the spherical Earth model in broader Chinese society took centuries, as traditional cosmology remained dominant among many scholars and the general population well into the Qing dynasty, 1644 to 1912. So it was introduced late 16th, early 17th century, but remained dominant until even the early 1900s. So this brain-dead goofery from Farina and all these other clueless scientism cultists, regardless of what the true model of the universe is, these goofs can't even get the establishment historical narrative correct. They're just that brain dead, they can't do basic Google searches. They can't even, in a brain dead stupor, they can't even ask Grok or AI when the spherical Earth model was introduced in some of these ancient civilizations. I mean, how brain dead are these goofs like Dave Farina? Every single ancient civilization throughout antiquity had a flat Earth model and navigated as such. And all of their ancient technology, all of the inventions. I mean, the Chinese invented gunpowder, the printing press. I mean, they had all these inventions with a flat Earth cosmology. So what is Dave Farina smoking here? In his brain-dead stupor, pretending and hallucinating to know with his circular reasoning fallacies and false dichotomy fallacies that something might look like it's rotating in a certain direction when it doesn't. I bring up this argument all the time. I mean, you can do this in an office chair. Put a bottle cap or something on the floor underneath you and spin clockwise in your office chair. Now, continuing to spin clockwise, look at the if there's a light bulb above you, start looking up at the ceiling while continuing to spin in the same direction. Does it look like you're going in the opposite direction? I mean, how much of a brain dead goof do you have to be to hallucinate that just because something looks a certain way doesn't mean it is a certain way? So in like a lot of globe Earth goofs, Farina wants to plug in the variables of the globe Earth model, like the position of the continents in the southern hemisphere. He wants to plug those variables which don't apply on a flat Earth model into a flat Earth model, and he wants the explanation with those variables because the mental capacity is just not there.
How observable is that? How does that fit with
Yeah,
your default?
this is what always happens. Instead of providing evidence that the surface is curving, you're saying, well, but if it's not, then how does this happen?
No curved surface. You said the default position, flat plane. I'm asking you on your flat plane, explain the observations of the celestial sphere. In the north, you get counterclockwise rotation. In the south, you get clockwise rotation. Explain that to me on your default flat plane. Explain it.
Yeah, so the counterclockwise and clockwise direction is super simple. It's based on looking different directions. Your better question is, why does it go around a singular point, is what you're trying to say?
No. I'm asking about the direction. I'm asking about the direction.
It just looking opposite directions would make them go the opposite directions. They all go east to west.
If you put a clock on your ceiling, which way can you face to make the hands go counterclockwise? Tell me which way you can face.
Not analogous. The stars drop.
No, it is though, because the hands on a clock. The hands on a clock.
You don't get it,
right?
You don't get it. The stars.
And again, Dave Farina here is spamming appeal to invincible ignorance. Instead of listening to Austin's preschool level explanation of why it's not analogous, he's just repeating that it is analogous. Like, he's not even allowing for the explanation to expose his brain dead goofery. That's called the appeal to invincible ignorance logical fallacy. Repeating it's analogous without comprehending how it would or wouldn't be analogous is not evidence that it is analogous. But Dave Farina, he's too mentally far gone. Or, maybe there's another option here. Maybe Farina isn't a complete vegetable, and he actually does have an inkling of how stupid he is. So he knows he doesn't understand. Like, he's smart enough to know that he doesn't have the mental capacity required to understand any of these things. So he has to appeal to invincible ignorance and talk over Austin, because that's his only cope. So is he smart enough? Is he actually not suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect as severely as it appears? I mean, I haven't asked this question before, because obviously it appears like he's suffering so severely he's going after that crown. Perhaps he's actually smarter than he looks. Perhaps he knows how dumb he is and that he can't grasp the explanation, so he has to, that's his only cope as a strategy to try to win the debate, because he knows how dumb he is. We haven't discussed this possibility. I don't know. I think it might be a possibility. It might be a possibility here. Let's see how this descends into a dumpster fire as it's appearing to look like. Oh, and real quick, to address why it's not analogous, if the layout of the world is not a globe, then you're not looking at the South Pole, are you? You're looking in different directions from the southern tip of the continents, which would be equal to the southern hemisphere. So if you're looking outward into an Antarctic ring, that would look a lot different than simply looking at the hands of a clock above your head. Now, what is analogous is if the northern hemisphere is roughly the same layout on a flat plane as it is a sphere, then the northern constellations on both a flat plane and a globe would be analogous. But the southern hemisphere would not. That's the plain explanation. That, again, if Farina just doesn't have the mental capacity, and if he actually realizes that he's that stupid, then he might actually be consciously employing the spamming of these appeal to invincible ignorance fallacies. He might be employing them as a strategy to consciously cover up his stupidity, which he is aware of.
Drop due to perspective, so we're actually looking out towards them, not directly up.
Well,
Did you know
depends on
that?
your latitude, right? Depends on your latitude. If you're
So
at
do
the
you
equator,
agree-
if you're at the equator, they're going from horizon to horizon.
Wait, do you
You do
agree that if
understand.
if I was looking out and something was spinning one way and then I looked at it from the other direction, it'd look like it was spinning the opposite
No,
way?
it
Yes or no?
wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Okay,
That's why I
so-
said, you just said, if I put a clock on the ceiling, right? Which way, I'm asking you, which way you just said, if something is spinning one way and you look a different way, it'll spin another way. So I'm asking you, put a clock on the ceiling. Which way can you face that'll make the hands appear to go counterclockwise?
You
Which way?
obviously don't comprehend what I'm saying,
I
Dave.
think
but
you don't understand what I'm saying.
Do you agree
easy.
that
So here's the main question. Is Farina for real right now? Is he just pretend? Is he really that mentally disabled? I mean, from his facial expression, it appears he might be. It appears Farina might actually be this retarded, where he's not understanding the difference between looking out and looking up. I mean, small children can understand this stuff. You know, looking directly up and looking out at a horizon, I mean, that's completely different. It appears, I mean, Farina's probably spent zero time with Stellarium or any kind of astronomy software where you can actually, you know, position yourself on points on Earth and look at the difference in rotation based on where you are on Earth. But look how smug he looks. So, I mean, this is tough. This is tough. Is he really this brain dead, or is he acting here? Does he know he's too stupid to understand the difference, so he has to pretend Austin doesn't understand? Like, obviously, to anybody who's even, I don't know, at a 4-year-old comprehension level, it's very obvious that Farina doesn't comprehend what WITSIT is saying. Shalom Shire Fire says, you can see the fluoride expression in his face. Yeah, he appears to be dumb, unless he's acting. If he's a brilliant actor going full retard. I mean, see, it's kind of hard to tell if it's good faith or not, though. Because if he's genuinely mentally disabled, in his deficient mind, it might be good faith in his deficient mind. Obviously, it doesn't look that way to us from the outside looking in. Now, if he's actually not a complete vegetable and he's aware of his stupidity and he's using these fallacies to cover it up strategically in debate, then that's not good faith. So it's kind of hard, you know, you have to know whether this is legitimate mental disability on Farina's part, or if he does possess a certain amount of competency and this is intentional, not good faith. Flat Bob says, the thing I like about the Sun, Calc, and Stellarium and the like softwares all have the luminaries rising from and setting into the plane. That's what it appears like, certainly. But just the goofery of Farina to not process looking outward versus looking up and then changing your position. Again, you could do this with an office chair. But he's just that stupid. He thinks something looks a certain way, therefore something is a certain way. I mean, this is such basics that he either can't grasp or this is his strategy to cope with his stupidity if he's aware of it.
Things will appear to drop due to perspective.
Why are you talking about perspective? I'm talking
because
about
you don't understand it. So.
Farina asks a question about perspective and then says, why are you talking about perspective? Okay, I don't know. Based on that, I have to lean genuine mental disability based on that. I mean, again, I'm not claiming it is genuine mental. Maybe he's just that brilliant of an actor. And he can go full retard convincingly. Maybe. So he doesn't even know the definition of perspective. The appearance of objects in depth as perceived by normal binocular vision. So he's talking about looking at something and how it appears to rotate, whatever way it rotates. That's literally perspective. And then he's asking Austin why Austin is talking about perspective when he asked the question about perspective. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, I don't think Craig is this dumb. I mean, Farina is legitimately going for this Dunning-Kruger crown. I mean, you ask a question about perspective and then ask why the person answering your question is talking about perspective. I haven't seen this before. I mean, I've watched a lot of debates. I haven't seen this level of goofery before. Like I said, I mean, Farina came to play. He's coming for that crown hard.
You're trying to obfuscate.
No, I'm not. If the stars are above me on a plane and I look out, they're going to look like they're dropping down, which means I'm looking out at... You don't even understand basic stuff.
You know what's hilarious about this visual? Austin is saying Farina doesn't understand basic stuff, while Farina's proving that he doesn't understand the basics by putting a globe in front of Austin. I mean, Farina doesn't even know the definition of perspective. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, I don't think... Man, has Craig even humiliated himself to this level before?
Look at this. Hang on. Where's the camera? Which way is this turning? Which way is this going, buddy? Which way is this going?
I don't know. Which way is it going?
Yeah, which way is it turning?
Who cares?
What cares?
Why are you obfuscating away from what I'm saying?
No, I'm talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Is this going clockwise or counterclockwise? Come on, just give me the answer, buddy. You can see it.
To be fair, the webcam is mirrored, so it might be.
It is?
I think so. So.
I mean, even this so-called moderator is exposing Farina's goofery. I mean, I don't know. I think Farina might... I don't know. I think it's possible Farina might give Sartain a run for his money here. Flap Bob says, imagine Dave Farina, Michael Sartain, and Craig of Fight the Flat Earth in a three-way cutthroat debate on something they all mutually disagree with each other on. That would be a show. Scott Steiner in the house here. Man, so I don't know, man. I mean, Craig's ability to stack fallacies is something unlike I've ever seen before. But in terms of just single pure stupidity arguments, I mean, man, Farina's not bad. I mean, and obviously Sartain just has the he has the numbers in his favor because his verbal diarrhea abilities are just unrivaled. Unrivaled.
Well, I don't know, and I don't see what's
No,
the
I see
relevance.
it. I see it going counterclockwise. I see it going counterclockwise.
Yeah, that's how
That's going counterclockwise, right? Just say it, Austin. Just say it.
It looks like that, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we keep it turning.
Do you think I don't understand the concept?
No, I'm showing you, and I'm showing all the viewers. Look, which way is this going now?
We all get the concept.
Going clockwise. So if you're standing up here and you look at the sky, you see it rotating counterclockwise. If you're down here, you see it rotating clockwise. So admit that this phenomenon makes perfect sense on a globe, and on a flat Earth it doesn't, which is why you're rambling about perspective and all these other things.
No, there was no rambling. You incessantly interrupted me explaining it because you know you can't
No, because
actually
you're
allow me
trying
to
to
say.
change the subject.
Okay, let me ask.
I'm not.
Let me try this. If this is okay, can we start with because you guys are both super familiar with this. Let me toss out. So people can dip a toe. One of the biggest conversations that goes back and forth. Both of you talked about this in your videos. Is in a flat Earth. Dave's video points out that there are some issues where, for example, the sun is coming around, right? And we know because we live here that one area of the world is in perpetual light, the other is in perpetual dark. This would be non-congruent with a flat Earth. So what is the flat Earth position? Am I describing that fairly, Dave? I'm oversimplifying.
Sure. The flat Earth cannot explain the region. That was my second point, that it cannot explain the regions.
That's what I was
of
trying to
illumination.
remember. Yeah. Okay. So what
The
is
regions of what?
The regions of illumination, the parts of the Earth that are day or night at any given time.
Yeah, but I know you know the answer. So I've
Yeah,
heard
that
the
Earth is
answer given
for-
to you.
The viewers
No,
don't
but
know
Dave
that.
knows the answer.
But
So
there's 10,000
something
people
called
The
watching.
answer
know.
is that if you're facing the sun, it's day, and if you're not, it's night. That's the answer.
Dude, I'm gonna enlighten you, bro. If you don't allow the other person's point to be made, you didn't win anything. No matter how much coping's going on in the chat.
for you to make a point. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called a coffee cup caustic. It's a literal physical effect that can be replicated. The light will actually bend around the rim of any type of containment. It can literally be demonstrated and shown to perfectly replicate the seasons, the perfect light distribution on a plain Earth. You're objectively wrong. You've had this presented to you, and now you're back here in front of people pretending you
presented
don't
this
know
to
what
you?
it is.
So I have to say, it does look like Duper's Delight here on Farina's ugly mug. It kind of looks like he's not a complete vegetable. It kind of looked, because Austin's calling out that all of this has been explained to him. Now, if he's truly a vegetable, why would he be smiling here? Because if he really is that mentally disabled and that mentally far gone, I mean, let's not fall for false dichotomies. If he finds it funny that he's that much of a vegetable, like he knows it has been explained, but he was too brain dead to comprehend the explanation, would he find his own stupidity funny if he has a humiliation fetish? Perhaps he would. Perhaps he would. I don't. This is tough. Dissecting the psychology of goofs like Farina, it's not easy. It's not easy. Because just because he had something explained doesn't mean he has the mental capacity to comprehend the explanation. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Who has presented this to me?
Dave
If you
Weiss
guys
did. I
could-
watched it.
No, Weiss floundered like a buffoon. That's why you guys all call him
No.
controlled opposition now. If you could demonstrate
No.
this, you'd all have videos demonstrating
Coffee.
this.
There are
showing you the
literally
model.
hundreds of them.
No.
Coffee cup
I'm not
caustic.
talking about, oh, shine it and, ooh, it kind of does a thing, sort of. I'm talking about show the precise regions of day and night over several month period, right? Have it exactly precisely align with where
It's literally been done multiple times,
okay.
Dave.
So
Sounds like an empty claim to me because I've never
Oh,
seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have.
So okay, hold on. So Austin, give him a second to explain his side. So you're saying the what most people see is that the daylight is predictable. Daylight, nightlight is predictable based on what is believed that the orbit, the current belief about the Earth's orbit. In a flat
Rotation.
Earth, yeah, the rotation, yeah. In the flat Earth, just let him finish. Dave, you get 2 minutes. Can you
I'm
describe?
not talking. Oh, me? What?
No, sorry. I'm gonna shoot it back to you for 2 minutes, but
Oh, sure.
give Austin 2 minutes to describe what he's talking. Because I just want you guys to remember, like, the audience doesn't know what coffee cup, whatever it is, right?
Right,
So
'cause it doesn't
remember,
mean anything.
okay, but remember, you're talking to like normies.
Sure. Okay,
So that's what I'm asking. So Austin, you have 2 minutes. Describe.
Okay.
We talked about how the sunlight stuff goes on. So 2 minutes, and then Dave, you get 2 minutes.
Okay. So if you type in coffee cup caustic, which I will literally look, I'll share the screen. And Dave has been shown this in
Just stay on
his
top.
debate.
Stay on point, though. Stay on point.
Oh, okay. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Answer my
The-
question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just Google coffee cup caustic. If I have a coffee cup, if I took the lid off of my coffee cup and then light was shining in from the window, what will happen because of the rim is the light will hit inside the coffee cup and wrap around the entire rim. I can take this little flat earth model right here and do it live. I'd have to cut all the lights off, and since the windows are open, I can't. So it's very simple to explain it. There you go. It wraps around. Now, if you apply this to a flat earth, you will be able to perfectly replicate the distribution of light that gives us day and night, depending on the proximity of the source of light. It's easily done. Everyone knows that, and you can look it up. If you're new to that, that's fine, but just look it up, right? And the way that we determine sunset time is with the equation of time, which uses the apparent sun. It uses the mean of the apparent sun. So we don't even use the globe model and a physical location of the sun to determine sunset time or day and night distribution. In the real world, we use the equation of time. So you can replicate this on a flat earth. It goes in the globe earth and flat earth basket. It isn't exclusive to either one.
Now, how does this? And I'm going to kick it over to Dave after this question. But I watched his debunk video, which is a little bit older, but has a zillion views. So congrats on that. But there's like, let's say you have this coffee cup caustic, right? And his claim is that there's like perpetual night, daylight in this spot and perpetual night in this spot, right? Am I representing that accurately?
Yes, near the solstices, there are places with 24-hour night and 24-hour day.
So how does that figure into this?
Yeah. Look, okay, I'll share the screen so everyone can see it.
Okay.
Does that work? We'll just do that. So I gotta find which one it is. Here we go. Okay.
I got you.
Okay. If you see here, this is a demonstration of the coffee cup caustic. Okay. That's what this is. So if you look, you put a dome over at the top of the flat earth, you're going to take a light source. It's going to give you see the distribution of the equinoxes and the solstice right there below it. Now watch what the light does. Now look at it wrap all the way around the outside. Okay. This is called coffee cup caustic, meaning if there was a container on the earth, it would literally have to do this. It would have to do this. And yes, all the mathematics has been shown, and I could pull that up if I need to.
Well,
so the math has been shown.
I want to give, while you pull that up, I'm going to give Dave 3 minutes to respond because we went over. So I want to give Dave, I'm like, I'm kind of keeping it rough, but just try to keep some semblance. So I want to let Dave respond to this.
I don't need 3 minutes. It doesn't perfectly match. It's just a very hackneyed demonstration that kind of sort of makes a shape. They're not showing any kind of actual model that directly correlates with all the positions. So number one, it absolutely does not correlate with the times of day and night. Doesn't do it. But second of all, it also creates gigantic problems because in order to get this, you're pretending that there's this dome, magical dome or whatever the hell you're talking about that's giving this effect, which number one isn't there. Right? You cannot demonstrate that this dome is there. But number two, it creates other problems because if you're saying that the sun is outside of this dome, then you don't get to have the sun inside the dome for the magical explanation for tides and all these other things that don't make sense on a flat earth that you're pretending that the sun and the moon do, right?
Yeah. Now, when Dave mentions this is another point of contention. I just, you guys are going at it, but I just want to keep everyone else in the loop. There is one of the points of contention is whether or not in the flat Earth model, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is whether or not the sun is inside or outside of this hypothetical dome. Because in one case, it's responsible for the tides.
You know what's weird? Like a lot of these brain dead goofs, like the Quartering, who's supposed to be a moderator, now he's getting involved. And Dave Farina, like these brain dead goofs, they can't even comprehend the conceptual idea that something can have a reflection, something can be a hologram. So the sun, regardless of whether it's inside or outside the dome, a reflection could be bouncing around the dome. Just like, I mean, you could do all sorts of things with a flashlight and the beam of the light wherever it's landing versus the source of the light versus the light behind the lens of the flashlight and all the different effects. So again, I'm not claiming any of that is true or untrue, but look at how desperate scientism cultists are to frame everything within a false dichotomy logical fallacy, where it could only be, if it's outside, it has to be these variables, which they have no way of knowing, or if it's inside, then that would exclude all these other variables, which they have no way of knowing. Like, this is the brain-dead, goofery scientism cultists bring to the table. True Man Zoo says, Dave not being able to prove or not that there could be a dome. Yeah, I mean, it's unknown whether there's a dome. Like, Dave Farina's pretending there's not. Has Austin WITSIT made a definitive claim that there is, or did he say if there's a dome, then this effect could be present? What exactly did he say? When I do it with the counter, I mean, I'll get it exactly. If he's claiming there's a dome without providing evidence of the dome. But what, basically, Farina and this quartering goof just fell into the fallacy trap that Austin just outlined at the beginning of shifting the burden of proof, because they're the ones pretending in the, again, false dichotomy, circular reasoning, fallacy spam, that all these things can only work on a sphere without providing evidence of distance of the sun or any of that stuff, or rotation of the earth. They provided no evidence of such. They just said theoretically it could work that way, which is true, it could, based on where the sun is and the rotation of it. If the earth is a globe and it's spinning, it could, you know, it would provide areas of light and dark. That's true. Just like if it's a flat plane with a dome, it could, in the same way, provide illumination. And Austin just literally put it on the screen, but for whatever reason, Dave Farina, again, appeal to invincible ignorance, he's pretending that it couldn't. Now, we're not even talking about what is or isn't true. We're just discussing theoretical possibilities of different models. But these goofs like Farina are so brain-dead and or dishonest, they can't even conceptualize different models. So yeah, it's tough. Like, how do you deal with this level of retardation when they don't have the mental capability to even conceptualize models without claims of true or untrue?
And this, that, and the other. And then the other case, it's responsible. What is it? Tides and what did you?
Storms, everything.
Yeah.
Right? Coriolis.
So what is
storms rotate in opposite directions depending on the hemisphere?
Oh my gosh.
So okay, all right.
Gosh.
So Austin, you know, I'll give you. Go ahead and respond to that.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't know what's above us because you can't freely just shoot stuff up as high as you want to. Okay. And GPS cuts off over a certain height. It's all militarized. But there could be layers to it. I don't know if you've ever thought of that, Dave, but there could just be layers. There could be multiple layers. And yeah, we know the sun affects things here. Tides don't work. You just gish gobs. Tides don't even work in your model. You can look up a paper by a Harvard paper, a century of tidal theory failures.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very simple. But this was if the whole debate is just, hey, let's just start spamming Austin with questions of how would this work on a flat Earth. That's not a debate. You're supposed to support the claim the Earth's a spinning ball. I showed direct falsification of it in my PowerPoint. So avoiding that is totally disingenuous.
Like the rotation of the night sky, depending on latitude, and you can't answer. You just say the word perspective and run away.
Oh. Farina's that brain dead? He doesn't know what perspective is? So the direct answer he's pretending is just saying perspective, therefore not an answer? So if Farina's like 1 + 1 unicorns, like how many unicorns would that be? And Austin's like, well, that would be 2 unicorns. And Farina would say, well, you just said unicorns and ran away. He directly answered the question. And to pretend that I mean, is this just a complete dishonesty or complete mental vegetative argumentation? I mean, is Farina just that much of a mental vegetable that he doesn't understand any answers, so he pretends the direct answers are running away because he doesn't even understand what perspective even is? while, because his whole question is a begging the question fallacy wrapped around a false dichotomy, circular reasoning logical fallacy. Because he's pretending like globe Earth variables would apply to a flat Earth. Obviously, they wouldn't. Again, it has nothing to do with one model being true or not. On the flat Earth model, globe Earth variables don't apply. On a globe Earth model, flat Earth variables, these are two different models. So, he's this mentally brain dead. Farina can't conceptualize a flat Earth independent of a globe Earth. He just, the brain power is just not there. The mental capacity is not there. So what can you do in this situation? It's like I bring this up all the time, like a preschooler's trying to full contact kickbox an adult. Like, what is Austin to do? And every time he knocks down the preschooler pretends he wasn't knocked down and he's winning. Like, what do you do in that situation? Jellybean Algo appears to be proving the point here. So if you don't understand, if you don't even have the mental capacity to comprehend a flat Earth model without globe Earth variables, obviously this is not a topic for you unless you want to psychologically project.
So Dave,
No, I got 3 words out and you interrupted it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
okay,
You were
okay,
free
so-
to answer. That's all you could do.
let me both give you-
Remember we did the whole thing with the clock on the ceiling, and you have no idea what you're talking about. You
Well, let's
said
do-
that.
fellas.
Okay,
let me
never
do.
mind.
This is so tough because then you have Dave Farina supposedly seriously bringing up the clock again, his demonstration of his incomprehension. Because you're not looking up at something if you're looking out at something. So Dave doesn't understand the difference between looking at a wall and looking at the ceiling, and then he's using evidence of that to try to pretend Austin didn't understand. Oh, man. Because on a flat model, the equivalent would be looking towards a wall, and on the globe, it would be looking at the ceiling. These are two different models. Again, I'm not claiming one is true or untrue, but there's a clear difference of variables on a flat model and a globe model. But Farina doesn't have the mental capacity to comprehend these basics.
Let me do. Okay, I'll play ball. I think that's fair. Why don't I give Dave and Austin both blocks of time?
Jellybean Algo in the chat here. Are you new to this channel? Do you not understand math? So if 1 unicorn plus 1 unicorn is 2 unicorns, does that mean unicorns are real because the math works? You can make math work with anything. I don't know. Jellybean Algo, are you new here? This is obviously a channel for logic and not committing logical fallacies. You could have perfect math with unicorns. How would that prove unicorns exist?
Dave, defend your position. I'll give you 5 minutes enough, you think?
No, we
That's
don't
it.
need to. I mean, longer chunks of time are just time for word salads, right? We need to actually.
All right, defend that the Earth is a globe. And then when you're done, I'll pass it to Austin and let him
Yeah.
defend that.
Well, I mean,
right?
look,
That's
I'm
what you're
just-
asking for, Austin, right? So I'm going to do that.
I want him to rebut the specific falsification of the globe where we see things from hundreds of miles away that should be obstructed by literal miles of vertical
Yeah, okay,
curvature,
pick one
including
thing.
silhouettes.
Pick,
'Cause you
pick
don't.
one thing. Pick
Those were
one thing
lies.
like that. Okay, so
you go.
that is the question.
Okay. The
Dave,
question is,
go
why do we see too far? And the answer is, we don't. Sorry, they're all lies. Every time you do a picture like that, you're lying about the distance, you're lying about the elevation, right?
So this is Farina's cope here, again with the appeal to invincible ignorance. He's pretending and hallucinating to know that it's a lie. Jellybean Algo says misattribution. Yeah, exactly. When you're saying math proves whatever, that's misattribution. Because the math can add up for anything. You could do math about ghosts or Bigfoot or interdimensional reptilian alien shapeshifters, and maybe they do exist. And you can make the math work, but math by itself is misattribution, correct. Jellybean Algo says, trust me? Farina knows what he's talking about. Clearly he doesn't. I mean, everybody can see it with their own eyes and ears here. Jellybean Algo with the appeal to faith here? If all you have is trust me, bro, Farina knows what he's talking. Farina doesn't know the difference between looking at the ceiling and looking at the wall. And you think he relies on verifiable facts? So he verified that those distances were false. There's tons of non-flat earthers who recorded all of these skylines and mountains decades ago. So I don't know if you're just trolling here, Jellybean Algo, or what math doesn't work with flat Earth? What can you name Can you name any math that doesn't work? Do you even know what math is? It seems like you don't, based on all your comments. You're saying trust me, bro, on Dave Farina, who's not even a professor, and you think he knows what he's talking about? So some guy who made a fraudulent name, you think they're trustworthy? What does that say about your discernment? If you're that brain dead, you think fraudsters deserve trust? You say trust me, bro, on fraudsters? I mean, that's kind of a I mean, what are you smoking? Farina doesn't even know the definition of perspective. He asked a perspective question, and then when Austin responded with perspective, he asked Austin, why is he talking about perspective? And you think this is a trustworthy guy that knows what he's talking about? I mean, this might be the dumbest guy who's ever debated anything. I mean, Professor Dave, I mean, he's coming for the Dunning-Kruger crown here. Jellybean Algo, you just provided a very simple explanation for perspective, which happens. I mean, you can do that experiment on any flat football field. I mean, have you never tried it? John, COVID is a scam, says the fake professor is the best promoter for level Earth. Yeah, I mean, these anti-flat Earth grifters have made more flat Earthers than any flat Earthers because their defenses, it's kind of hard to believe they're for real. Like, it's like Dave Farina is intentionally trying to make the dumbest arguments and appear as stupid as possible. And if that's his intention, then well done.
Altitude from which the picture is taken, you're just lying, right? All of these things.
What is the picture you're talking about? Is this a picture where it's like, oh, here's a mountain that's
they just take pictures and like, look at this thing that's so far away we shouldn't be able to see it, or like, here's the Chicago skyline from across the lake, well, we shouldn't be able to see it. They're just always lying. They're just lying about the distance. They're lying about various.
Bro, those were everyone I showed was from a professional photography website that has nothing to do with flat Earth, with all of the information listed.
Austin,
your model doesn't claim that the distances are wrong. That isn't your model's answer.
No, you guys just lie. You guys just lie. That's all it is. You just lie about how far away things are. And
this is so tough. Farina is he's doubling down on his retardation. He doesn't understand that these photography websites and all of this that has nothing to do with flat Earth. You guys just lie, but those photographers and videographers aren't flat Earthers. So Dave Farina is saying the flat Earthers lie, while non-flat Earthers that provided the information the flat Earth used, they're lying too to support the flat Earthers while being globe Earthers? That's Farina's position? I mean, that's a weird cope. I mean, is he for real or is he just genuinely a vegetable? I mean, I really can't tell. I have to hand it to Dave Farina. He's making it very difficult. He's making it very difficult. Jellybean Algo says, I know some flat earthers happen to be homeschooled by ignorant parents. How do you know they're ignorant? I mean, homeschoolers actually have much higher IQs and higher test scores than those going to government indoctrination facilities. You want some receipts, Jellybean Algo? You haven't been humiliated enough? You want more receipts proving how dumb you are here, humiliating yourself? Okay, we can do that. We could do that. Let's get some homeschooling stats up here that anybody can verify. It's always funny, like scientism cultist bootlickers. They like to trash homeschooling, but all the metrics show that kids that are homeschooled are way smarter. Academic performance here, 15 to 25 percentile points above public school. We're not talking about 1 or 2 negligible points here. This is the Ray and Halsell study, 2024. And a few others here, 2010, 2015, 2017. Black homeschool students scoring 23 to 42 percentile points above black public school students. So they're even because some people say, oh, there's all these differences. There's like more whites are homeschooled, therefore this or that. But I mean, across every metric, the results are the same. 78% of peer-reviewed studies on academic achievement show homeschool students perform statistically significantly better than those in institutional schools, Ray 2017. Homeschool students score above average on achievement tests regardless of their parents' level of formal education or their family's household income. So you have homeschool parents who both have high-level college education, and those who don't, their kids still score higher. Whether homeschool parents were ever certified teachers is not notably related to their children's academic achievement. Again, perfect example of the credentials fallacy that no doubt Jellybean Algo will cling desperately to because these goofs have nothing. Authority-worshipping cultists just do not have anything other than logical fallacy to support their argument. Home-educated students typically score above average on the SAT and ACT tests. I mean, I can go on for this with hours, because, you know, again, scientism cultist goofs, authority-worshipping cultist goofs, they always try to hallucinate that homeschooled kids would be dumber. So again, pretty much any study you take has the same results. I mean, we're not talking 1 or 2 percentage points. We're talking statistically significant deviation from indoctrination facilities run by the state. Any other questions? Or did that goof run away? All right. Anyway, it's always funny when these brain-dead goofs try to say, you know, use homeschool as some kind of an own or something while exposing their own disability. Oh, so Jellybean Algo doesn't understand stats. So you brought up one anecdotal fallacy? You're talking about one single family while saying if others knew stats. So clearly you don't know any of the stats about homeschool while spamming an anecdotal fallacy. Yeah, you're not too bright. Spot on projection there. Please stay for the whole stream, though, Jellybean Algo. I always like to have good examples of the Dunning-Kruger effect in the chat to really drive these points home. So thank you for being that educational reference.
How high?
It's a professional photography website. It has nothing to do with flat Earth.
Well,
Can you share one so people can see what you guys are talking about, please?
Yeah,
Sure.
Anyone you want, as long as Dave agrees that it looks good. Share one that you think, Austin, that you think. I'm trying to, you know, Share one that you think supports your position, and then Dave can debunk the photo, or he can share his criticisms of the photo. And while he's looking that up, I want to give everyone a chance, let you know, I'm joined here by two creators, two commentators, both WITSIT Gets It Done on YouTube, linked in the description. Is at YouTube at WITSIT, and as well as Professor Dave. Also enjoyed your Terrence Howard video because I think he actually is legitimately insane, but that I don't know. But the
expected virality on that one, yeah.
Yeah, that was all right. Yeah, but both guys create content. One of the people in this room are banned from Twitter. I don't want to name names, but the otherwise you can find them on Twitter or Dave, is there somewhere else where you want people to look for your stuff other than YouTube? Okay,
YouTube.
One of these guys in the room is also propped up by all the algorithms.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
I make popular
debating.
content, man. I make popular content because
If
it's
anyone's
funny.
wait,
to
wait.
watch.
Jellybean Algo is still in the chat humiliating themselves. That family had 7 homeschooled kids, 0 did anything remotely academic, but they think they understand everything from the mythology like flat earth. Well, what you're brain dead to understand, nobody's arguing every single homeschooled kid is smart. I mean, that's what you're too brain dead. You kept proving the anecdotal fallacy because clearly it has nothing to do with the kids being homeschooled. So if you weren't completely brain dead and you did understand statistics, you wouldn't have said they were homeschooled. Go figure. You wouldn't have even mentioned that they were homeschooled. So if your argument was, oh, one family with dumb kids, doesn't everybody? Like, why'd you even mention that? Like, you're still digging a deeper hole, humiliating yourself here, while obviously you're Dunning-Kruger so off the charts, you appear not to have any awareness of how you're humiliating yourself by not understanding basic statistics. Why did you bring up they were homeschooled if that's not relevant? Because, as again, you saw all the stats on the screen there, all the receipts, homeschooled kids are way smarter on average. But keep digging. This is hilarious.
You're prioritized by the algorithm.
No, I'm the things that people like to watch are prioritized by the algorithm.
If I Google
Nobody
WITSIT Gets It,
watches
you
guys
come
'cause
up.
So few people are stupid enough to fall for a flat earth, so nobody watches you guys.
Whoa. So Farina's that brain dead? He thinks nobody watches flat earth content? Is that why he dedicated his life full time to being an anti-flat earth grifter? Or a significant portion of his content, whatever? Why is he debating a flat earther if nobody watches flat earth content? Like, he wouldn't be getting any views if nobody watches flat earth. I mean, is this just legitimate mental disability? Or is Farina smart enough to know how stupid he is and this is all an act? I mean, it's tough. It's so tough to tell. It's so tough to tell. I mean, it's pretty tough. Farina is making flat earth content because nobody watches flat earth content. I mean, Farina's that dumb. He doesn't know that all these flat earth videos get tons of views. Again, nothing to do with which model is true or not. But flat earth gets so many views that the government had social media shadow ban flat earth content. And I think Dave Farina knows that. That's the thing. Unless, I don't know, if he really is that retarded. I mean, is he really this retarded, though, that he doesn't know? I mean, I don't know, man. This is tough. This is tough.
Dave, listen.
Interesting.
If I YouTube WITSIT Gets It geocentrism, a literal stream I did, you pop up. Can you explain to me why you're popping up when I search for me? Okay, let's not play games.
Let's try it.
YouTube admitted in Congress they deprioritize flat earth content because it's misinformation. So what?
Yeah, I don't get it. I got, if the Earth is flat, what's under it? Shorts.
Yeah,
solar
that's what I
system
got.
from Earth's perspective.
Of course, because it's heavily censored. It doesn't mean it's true, but we don't have to play this game that like you're not propped up.
Jeff recommends popular content, but I make very good, informative, educational content.
Look at that. What do you wait? Go down. What do you have to do with WITSIT Gets It geocentrism? What does your video have to do with it? You just proved my point live for the whole entire audience.
Maybe I put the keyword geocentrism in there. I don't even remember what my keywords are.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You don't know. You don't know what my keywords are.
I know for a fact you didn't. So anyway,
You don't have
let's
access
get
to
back
my
to the
YouTube.
All right, it looks like Farina has provided the receipts that he's just a liar. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean he's not mentally disabled. Farina could be a retarded liar. Very possible. That doesn't, just because he's a liar doesn't mean his mental capacity is at a certain high level. Clearly, it's not. But he's claiming he doesn't even know his own keywords. Why would he use geocentrism for a keyword that has nothing to do with geocentrism? Like, what's underneath a flat earth? Like, but it is kind of hilarious how WITSIT pointed out how he just proved how shadow banning or deprioritization in the search works. Which obviously, I mean, is there anybody who doesn't know that by now? That social media algorithms factor in what they want to prioritize based on political agendas? I mean, anybody who's been on YouTube for more than a few years knows that back in the day, YouTube did not do that. Or even Google. Like, what was it, pre-2011-ish? The search came up on whatever you searched, regardless of views. If you had a really specific search, a video with no views would still come up. It has nothing to do with views. It was based on your keywords, because that's what search is supposed to be about. So searching for Austin WITSIT, yeah, if a different channel, like let's say Dave Farina made a specific video about Austin WITSIT, and the algo prioritized higher videos with higher view counts, then that particular video would come up, but not a whole bunch of videos that have nothing to do with Austin WITSIT. And the fact that this even has to be explained, like, is Farina just that brain dead? He doesn't know how social media searches work? Like, he's pretending that they're all organic? What? I mean, this is weird. This is weird. So, I don't know. Maybe he's mentally disabled and a liar.
Because I've tested this because you're the #1 propped up anti-flat Earth. Dude, they admitted in Congress that they consider it misinformation, so they deprioritize it and they prioritize the information correcting the misinformation. That would be you, according to them. So they prioritize you. If you look up anything flat Earth related, you get Professor Dave. Okay, we all know that content blows the rest of your content out. That's why you got so many tens of millions of views.
Look, I have 1,500 tutorials. Do we really want to talk about my education?
No, bro, I'm not even. I hope good luck, brother. I'm not hating on your success. I'm just pointing out.
No, you definitely.
I'm literally not, dude. If you make $400 million, I don't care. I wish you would. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out, bro. I'm just pointing out.
Awesome.
The objective fact that it's CPART.
Awesome. I love you, but hold on. Now, here's a picture that Austin shared. Nobody denies that this picture exists. Austin, what do you say this is showing? Now, remember, I keep bringing it back because people who are watching aren't as balls deep as you guys both are in the topic. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So this is just a picture to me. What does this show?
Okay, so this was the world record at the time. It's been beaten now for the longest line of sight photograph ever taken. This is a mountain called Pic Gaspard. Okay, and it was so now on a globe. If I look out, the Earth should be curving and blocking things in the distance, similar to how I can't look around a corner, right? If I look, it's like looking at a hill. So if based on your height,
taken at 12,000 feet, though, right?
Correct. Right. So what you do is you pull up Earth Curve Calculator, you put the observer height in, and then it'll tell you where the horizon will be, and it'll tell you how much of the target hidden height there is. So this is from the Earth Curve Calculator, official calculator. And if you look at it, the observer was 9,000 feet up. The target hidden height, meaning how much Earth curvature should be there, is 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest part of the mountain is only 12,000 feet. That means the top of that mountain should be 4,000 feet below Earth curvature.
Okay. And then Dave, what do you say to that?
Two things. One, I cannot verify any of those numbers. Those could absolutely be fabricated by you. And number two, we're not doing any of the math. So those are two things that are not being verified. So instead, let's talk about something purely conceptual and intuitive. Why can we see farther with elevation?
You're on the screen. Be careful.
What happened?
I know.
Awesome. Okay. I was just saying.
This guy's just denying basic
As somebody,
math.
as
No,
somebody
let me
who's put
finish.
their own, I put my own
Basic
home
math.
address on when I didn't realize it. So I was just telling
No,
you.
yeah, I guess you could look.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let me finish the thing I was saying.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
So we can't verify any of these numbers. So instead, let's just talk about something very simple and intuitive. If we are looking at something at the horizon, if we go up in elevation, we can see farther. That is not intuitive on a flat Earth because that actually increases the distance to the horizon, right? If you're going up, now there's an additional distance, right? If you get a hypotenuse, that's always going to be longer than the leg there. So why can we see further with higher elevation? That doesn't make any sense.
So, wow, that was the biggest fallacy stack so far. So he went false dichotomy, false cause, circular reasoning, false premise, logical. That was a quad stack right there. Oh, actually a quint stack, appeal to incredulity. Because it doesn't make any sense to him presupposing that he has the mental capacity to comprehend it. Because if he doesn't, of course it wouldn't make sense to him. You know, ants crawling around outside, it doesn't make sense to them why these people are putting on a podcast or how the podcast, how the technical equipment and internet works. It doesn't make sense to the ants. So according to Farina's disability and fallacy spam, if he doesn't have the mental capacity to comprehend something, even if it's basic that small children can understand, that must mean it's not true. Like, this level of mental disability and goofery, I mean, it's all time. It's all time here by Farina. I mean, he's really coming for that Dunning-Kruger crown here. How does that not make sense that the higher you go, the more you see, regardless of the shape of the Earth? Now, obviously, he's also ignoring precipitation. I mean, obviously, precipitation exists. You know, if anybody's ever been in a fog, in a dense fog, you're not even going to be able to see 10 feet in front of you. That has nothing to do with the shape of the street you're walking on. I mean, just the level of mental disability here. I mean, this is all time. All time. Chin Chin says, Farina is such a goof, it is quite unbelievable that he has any fans or viewers. So a couple things. So some people actually think that all of his numbers are fake. It's all bots. Because if you look at his live streams, the numbers are so low relative to his subscriber count. So, you know, versus other channels. Like big channels, they might have a million, you know, millions of subs. Obviously, they're not going to have millions of viewers every single stream, but they're going to have more than a couple. They're going to have more than like 500. So, yeah, a lot of people think all his numbers are inflated and just all bots, mostly bots, first of all. Second of all, it could be a Craig Fight the Flat Earth situation where they just hate him that much. They gaslight him into thinking that he's actually making good points so they could laugh at him. It's really mean. Like, I've criticized people with this with Craig. Like, are Craig's followers just these really evil, mean people who are just laughing at Craig humiliate himself while gaslighting, pretending that he's, like, making good points or he's winning these debates, so that way Craig just keeps doing more of them because he thinks these people are actually supporting him when they're just laughing at him? I mean, it's so mean. It's just so mean.
Okay, that's insanely incorrect. So you change your angle of view.
Correct. Okay, so just address the point, right?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
Within 7 seconds. He
Austin,
made a claim
you're
that
here
it doesn't
and you're
make any
looking
sense.
here.
It's
if you go up,
basic
this is
math.
even farther now, right? If you're here and you're looking at something here and you go up in elevation, that thing is now further away from you. So why can you see further with additional elevation?
Because you're increasing your angle of view.
Increasing
You
your
didn't
angle
know
of view,
that?
you can see How can you see a further distance? We're not talking about an angle, a further distance. How can you see
Because now you're changing your angle of view, so you're increasing your angular resolution and the things that you can pick up in the distance. Also, the ground ramps up due to perspective. Dude, just imagine, just think about it simply. If I was on a flat floor and I laid my head down on the floor, as I start to stand up, I'm going to be able to see further along the floor because my angle of view increases. This is, again, not exclusive to a globe Earth.
Okay, this is gonna be it for me. We're gonna have to do another part, because, like, to be this remedial, like, look how confused Farina looks. I mean, small children can understand these basic concepts. I mean, this is kind of like peekaboo. Obviously, you're gonna see more if you're not blocking your view. I mean, does Farina need preschool peekaboo? I mean, it's actually before preschool. I mean, little babies play peekaboo. I mean, how many months old does a baby understand peekaboo? Like, if your vision is being blocked by something, you're not going to see more. As there's less in your way, aka increasing field of view, you see more. I mean, this is preschool basics. Look how confused Farina is here. Like, the mental capacity is just not there to comprehend the basics. I mean, this is preschool stuff, and he can't grasp it. I mean, it's like there's nothing going on upstairs. Like, look how good, the information didn't process. And I'm not sure it's possible to dumb it down further. Like, how do you dumb this down further? I mean, I don't know how it can be done. I mean, if it's possible, I mean, I don't know what Austin is thinking here. I mean, his level of patience is incredible. I mean, Farina can't even understand the concept of peekaboo. Like, what is this? Like, this is why my original theory on Flat Earth is that all of Flat Earth is a psyop, where they get the stupidest people they can find, like, genuinely stupid, like non-actors. Like, who thinks Farina's acting here? Who thinks he's acting full retard versus genuinely not being able to process the most basic information possible? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's acting here. I mean, he'd have to be a heck of a good actor to go this full retard convincingly. Like, there's nothing going on behind the eyes here. Raised by Gypsies is saying not acting. So yeah, the psyop I'm theorizing is they find the dumbest people possible to argue on the side of the globe to increase Flat Earth membership, regardless of whether it's true or not. That doesn't factor into the psyop. The McGuire theory is simply that the psyop exists to increase Flat Earth membership to destabilize society in order to usher in the New World Order quicker. Because who's going to have faith in these scientism institutions when they're defending the shape of the Earth this poorly? Like, they can't even get someone who understands toddler-level concepts? Flapop says, I think it's a little bit of both. He knows the arguments, he just pretends he doesn't. I mean, I don't know how, I mean, if he's smart enough to grasp how stupid he is, so he knows he doesn't actually understand the argument, even if he's heard it before, so all he can do is deflect and spam fallacies. I mean, I suppose that's possible. That wouldn't put him in complete in vegetative status. He wouldn't be a complete vegetable according to that theory. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty weird. But we're going to have to split this in more parts because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but listening to Austin give a toddler-level explanation of peekaboo and Dave Farina still doesn't understand it, I mean, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Jellybean, all of that's been explained ad nauseum. So, anyway, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Plenty more to come. I'm going to try to finish this one up soon, too, because, yeah, there's only so much goofery I can take. I mean, this is pushing me to the limit. Because at least Craig is entertaining with his goofery. Farina's just painful. Like Farina, Soy Lodge, like a lot of these brain dead goofs, like the entertainment value's not good. I mean, it's there for the people who thinks that, you know, this level of disability put forth by Farina is funny. I mean, it's kind of funny in certain points, but when you have to have toddler peekaboo explained to you, I mean, to me, that's more painful than hilarious. Whereas with Craig, I mean, his ability to stack fallacies while being entertaining in his goofery and his humiliation fetish spirals, that's a lot funnier, in my opinion. Obviously, humor is subjective. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Help logic and reason return to a world where it is quickly going extinct. Perhaps Farina, one of the greatest of all time, at proving that. You can also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.